Allahu, 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 Allah. Allahu, 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 Allah. Allahu, 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 Allah. Allahu, Allahu, Allah. In this session, we will look at lesson 2. We will look at the letters H, N, Q, and K. We will also look at the long A and the AA vowels. And lastly, we will look at the circle and little W signs. For number 1, the letter below is called H. Trace the letter H in the following exercise. Here you have a new letter, H. You will notice that it looks like a circle, but with a little point at the top. Here is where you start writing the letter H. You start from here, and you go down in a clockwise direction. And then you go up until you arrive at the place where you start. How will the letter H appear in the different parts of a word? Here is how the letter H will appear when it's alone. This is how the letter H appears when it is at the beginning of a word. That is, it has to be joined to a letter after it. To write the letter H, you start from here at the top once again, and you go down in a clockwise direction. You come on down, then you go back up, then you continue in a wrong circle, and then you go until the letter H is joined to the letter that comes after it. Here we have 2 more examples. You start once again from here, you go down in a clockwise direction, and then you go up to make a little circle, and then you go on to the next letter. How will the letter H appear in the middle of a word when it has to be joined to letters on both sides? On the right side, it will be joined to the letter that comes before it, and on the left side, it will be joined to the letter that comes after it. To begin writing the letter H, you start from this point. You go to the middle, then you go down, then you go up. Then you come back to the middle, and then you continue until the letter is joined to the next letter. And here you have 2 more examples for you to practice. At the end of the word, this is how the letter H will appear. That is, it has a stem before it, from which it will be joined to the letter that comes before it. So to begin writing the letter H, you start from here, and you go on up. Then you come down until you complete the letter H. Here you have a note. The letter H is almost the same when it is alone or attached at the end of a word. That is, when it is in these 2 forms, when it is alone and when it is attached to the end of a word. The 2 forms are almost the same. The beginning and between forms are different. As you can see, the beginning form here is different from when it is in the middle of a word, and it has to be attached to letters on both sides. So basically there are 3 forms for the letter H. Number 2, trace and pronounce the following. You will now observe how H appears in the different parts of a word. Here H appears at the beginning of the word. Let's trace and pronounce. H, M, L, vowels, H-A-ha, M-A-ma, L-A-la, hamala. Here H appears in the middle of the word. M, H, L, vowels. M-A ma, H-I he, L-A la, mahila. Here H is also in the middle of the word. L, H, M, vowels. L-A la, H-A ha, M-A ma, lahama. Here H is at the end of the word. L, M, H, vowels. L-A la, M-A ma, H-A ha, lamaha. And here H is at the end of the word. A, symbol. L, H, vowels. A, L-I li, H-A ha, aliha. Trace the following letter that is called N. Here you have a new letter, N. You will notice that the N goes below the line, though often you will see the N on top of the line when it is alone. To start tracing N, you begin from the top right and you go down. Then you go across and then you go up once again. After that you put in the dot. And so you have the letter N here. How will the N appear in the different parts of a word? This is how the N will appear at the beginning of a word. That is, part of the N is cut and the right side is used. Also, you will notice that it runs on top of the line. So to begin writing the letter N, we start from here. And we go down and we continue until the N is joined to the letter that comes after it. After that, you put in the dot. Here you have two more examples. How will the N appear in the middle of a word? Here you will notice that the N has two stems. The right side will be joined to the letter that comes before it, and the left side will be joined to the letter that comes after it. To begin writing the letter N, you start from the right or you start from here. You go on up a little, then you come down, and you go on until it is joined to the letter that comes after it. Then after that you put in the dot. Here we have two more examples of the letter N. How will the letter N appear at the end of a word? Here you will notice that it is basically the same as when it is alone. The only difference is that it has a stem before it, by which it will be joined to the letter that comes before it. So to begin writing the letter N, you start from here, you go up a little, then you come down, then you go on, and then you go back a little, and after that you put in the dot. So here you have the letter N. These are all the different forms of the letter N. Basically, you just have to cut the letter and join it to the letter that comes before it or after it. Number 4. Trace and pronounce the following. Now you will observe how the letter N appears in the different parts of a word. Here N is at the beginning of the word. Let's trace and pronounce. N, H, L, dot, vowels. N-A na, H-A ha, L-U-N lun, naha lun. Here also N is at the beginning of the word. N, M, L, dot, vowels. N-A na, M-I me, L-A la, namila. Here N is in the middle of the word. H, N, M, dot, vowels. H-A ha, N-A na, M-A ma, hanama. And here N is at the end of the word. M, H, N, dot, vowels. M-U mu, H-I he, N-A na, muhina. Number 5. Trace the following letter that is called Q. Here you have the letter Q. How do you write the letter Q? You start from here, you go on up, then you come down below the line, and then you continue until you finish here. After that, you put in the 2 dots. And so here you have the letter Q. How will the letter Q appear in the different parts of a word? Here is how the letter Q will appear at the beginning of the word. You will notice that it has been cut and it runs on top of the line. To begin writing this letter, you start from here once again, and then you continue and you go on until it is joined to the letter that comes after it. Here we have another example of the letter Q. You are to trace both of them. Here is how the letter Q will appear when it is in the middle of the word. As you will notice, it has 2 stems, one on the right and one on the left. To begin writing the letter Q, you start from the right and you go on and you go up as if you're making the letter E in English. After that, you put in the 2 dots. From this point, it will be joined to the letter that comes after it. Once again, you start from here, you go on up, then you come down, and you continue until it is joined to the letter that comes after it. Here we have another example. How will the letter Q appear at the end of a word? As you can see, it is just like when it is alone. The only difference is that it has a stem by which it will be joined to the letter before it. So to begin writing the letter Q, you start from this point here, and you go on, you go up, and then you come down. Then you put in the 2 dots. And so here you have the letter Q. These are how the letter Q will appear in the different parts of a word. You will realize that it is very easy to recognize this letter, because in all of the forms you will have this head with the 2 dots at the top. Whether it is the whole letter or just part of the letter. So basically you can say that this letter has only one form. Number 6. Trace and pronounce the following. You will now observe how the letter Q appears in the different parts of a word. Here Q is at the beginning of the word. Let us now trace and pronounce. Q, D, M, dots, vowels. QA ko, DID, MA, kodima. Here also you have Q at the beginning of the word. Q, L, M, dots, vowels. QA ko, LA la, MUN mun, kolamun. Here you have Q in the middle of the word. L, Q, M, dots, vowels. LA la, QA ko, MUN mun, la common. Here you have Q at the end and also in the beginning of the word. Q, L, Q, dots, vowels. QU ku, LI li, QA ko, kuliko. Here you have a note. Q is pronounced at the top of the throat with the mouth rounded. Here you have QA ko. You can't say QA ke. So the whole thing should be kodima and not kedima. Here it should be kolamun and not kelemun. That is, you can't pronounce the letter Q from the front of your mouth. It must come from the top of the throat with the mouth rounded. Number 7. Trace the following letter that is called K. Here you have a new letter. It is the letter K. How do you begin writing the letter K? You start from the top here and you go straight down, then you go across and then you go up a little. After that you put in the symbol. This symbol resembles the letter S in English. So here you have the letter K. How does the letter K appear in the different parts of a word? Here is how the letter K will appear when it is alone. At the beginning of the word, the symbol is taken out and used, and so it represents the letter K. To begin writing the letter K, you start from here, and then you come down, and then you join on to the other letter. Here we have two more examples. Once again you start from here and you go down, then you continue and join on to the letter that comes after. This is how the letter K will appear in the middle of a word. That is, when it has to be joined to letters on both sides. From this side, it will be joined to the letter before it. So to begin writing the letter K, you start from here. and you go on up, and then you come until you arrive here. Then you raise your pen and you start from here, where it will be joined to the letter that comes after it. Here we have two more examples. Once again, you start from here and you continue until you reach the top. Then you raise your pen and you continue from here, where it will be joined to the letter that comes after. And here is how the letter K will appear at the end of a word. As you can see, it has a stem on the right side, by which it will be joined to the letter that comes before it. To begin writing the letter K, you start from here and you go up. And then you come down again, and then you go across and go up a little. After that, you write in the symbol. And so here you have the letter K. These are all the forms of letter K. You will notice that basically there are only two forms. That is when it is alone, or when it is joined to the beginning of a word or in the middle of the word. In the case where it is joined to the beginning of the word or in the middle, the symbol is used. Other than that, the letter K is used, whether it is alone or at the end of the word. So basically there are only two forms. Number 8. Trace and pronounce the following. Now you will observe how the letter K appears in the different parts of a word. Here K is at the beginning of the word. Let us trace and pronounce. K, L, M, vowels. K-A-K, L-I-Li, M-A-Ma, kalima. Here K is also at the beginning of the word. K, H, N, dot, vowels. K-U-Ku, H-I-Hi, N-A-Na, kuhina. Here K is in the middle of the word. L, K, N, dot, vowels. L-A-La, K-I-K, N-A-Na, lakina. Here K is at the end of the word. M, L, K, symbol, vowels. M-A-Ma, L-A-La, K-U-N kun, malakun. And here K is in the middle of the word. H, K, M, vowels. H-A-Ha, K-I-K, M-A-Ma, hakima. Note that this letter must be pronounced from the front of your mouth and not the top of your throat with your mouth rounded, like the Q that you have learned before. So you cannot say kwalima, you say kelima. The K must be pronounced from the front of your mouth. This is very important because not pronouncing your words correctly can change the meanings of these words. Let us take for example, in Arabic there are two words. One is kelbun, which means a dog. And that is called with this K here. And the next one is kolbun, which means a heart. And that is called with the letter Q. So if you want to tell Allah that you're going to give him your heart, which is kolbun, but you do not use the word kolbun, you say kelbun, which means a dog, then you would end up telling Allah that you're giving him your dog. And you can see how serious that is. So it is important that you call these letters correctly. Number 9. The AA vowel is placed above the letter to give it a stress. Trace the following. Here you will notice a little stroke within brackets. This shows that there must be a stress on the syllable or sound. Here you have M-A-A ma, L-I li, K-U-N kun, malikun. Here you have M-A ma, N-A-A na, M-U-N mun, manamun. And here you have A-A-A-A, L-A-A la, M-U-N mun, alamun. Number 10. The letter A placed after the short A vowel gives a stress to the sound or syllable. Trace and pronounce the following. Here you have the letter A after the short A vowel. When you spell this syllable, you say M-A-A ma. That is, you call the letter first with its short vowel above, and then you add the letter A after it. And so you have a syllable that must be stressed. Once again, it is M-A-A ma. D-A-A da. H-A-A ha. K-A-A ka. N-A-A na. L-A-A la. Note, for the transliteration, the long A vowel is written with an English common letter. Here, this short A vowel with the letter A becomes a long A vowel, and so it is represented by a common letter A in English. Number 11. Trace and pronounce the following. There is a long vowel in each of these words. You would have to pronounce these words correctly, paying attention to the long vowel, which would have to be stressed. Now, the long vowel has been identified for you. As you can see, it is in red. That is, you have K-A-A, ka. Let's begin. Makanun. Imamun. Malikun. Kahinun. These are all real words. So we are now moving into the stage where you will begin to see real words. Let us take for example, makanun here literally means a place. And some of you might know what imamun means. This is the priest of a mosque or the leader of an Islamic community. So Imamun literally means a leader. As for Malikun, those of you who know the first chapter of the Quran would remember the phrase Maliki Yawmiddin, which means master of the day of judgment. So Malik literally means a master. And here you have Kahinun. A Kahin is a soothsayer or fortune teller, a person who you would have to keep away from. Okay? Number 12. The AA vowel equals to the short A vowel followed by the letter A. That is the long A vowel. Trace and pronounce the following. Here you will have two different constructions of the same word. This word is Malikun. That is, you have the long A vowel here, which is the short A vowel followed by the letter A. And so these give you the long A vowel. In this second word, the pronunciation and the meaning are the same as the first word. The only difference is that you have the AA vowel above instead of the long A vowel here. So when we pronounce this word, we say Malikun, the same way we pronounce this word. Here also you have the long A vowel, and it is pronounced as Manamun. Whereas here you have the same pronunciation, Manamun, but instead of the long vowel, you have the AA vowel above. And here also you have Alamun with the long A vowel. Whereas here you have Alamun but with the AA vowel above. The meanings and pronunciation of these pairs of words are the same, though their constructions are different. What is important to note here is that the AA vowel is used in some words of the Quran instead of the long A vowel. Just to give you an example, here you have a verse from the Quran. In fact, this verse is from the first chapter of the Quran, and it is Maliki Yawmiddin. You would not be able to pronounce this part because it has some new letters that you have not learnt as yet. What I want to bring to your attention is that in the spelling of Maliki, you have the AA vowel here. And this means master of the day of judgment. But at the bottom here you will notice a different construction for Maliki, and that is the long A vowel is used instead of the AA vowel that is used above here. And this is the name of a person. It is Abdul Malik, which means servant of the master. That is, servant of the master of the day of judgment, who is Allah. So instead of using the long A vowel for certain words, the Quran would use the AA vowel instead. Number 13. A letter that has a comma or circle sign above it must be joined with the vowel of the letter before it. Trace and pronounce the following. Here you have a circle over the letter L. This means that the L must be joined to the vowel before it. So instead of spelling it as Ku, ku, we say Kul, kul. Hum, hum. Min, min. In, in. L-A-M, lam. Here you have a note. In this course, the circle is used instead of the comma. In the Quran, the comma is used. So here in this course, you will have the circle that is used and not the comma. But the comma is found in the Quran. Number 14. Trace and pronounce the following words. Here you will have words with a circle sign over certain letters. You would have to trace and pronounce them. M-I-N, min. K-U-M, kum. Minkum. A-A-M, am. K-A-K, N-A, na. Amkana. L-A, la. K-U-M, kum. Lakum. M-U-L, mul. K-U-N, kun. Mulkun. Note: for the transliteration, when two capital letters are together, they must be pronounced as if they are separated. Here you have an example where two capital letters N and K are together, as you can see here. So to pronounce it, you have to separate these two syllables between the two capital letters. So you pronounce it by saying min kum. Here you have amkana. And here you have mulkun. Number 15. When a letter is written with a little W sign above it, then it must be called twice. It is first called with the vowel before it, and then with its own vowel, either above or below it. Trace the hollow letters below. Here you have A-I-N, in, and A-na, inna. So this circle sign tells you that the N must be called with the vowel before it. But you will notice that there are two N's here. Why not write one N, but with a sign above it that will tell you that the N must be called twice? So here you have one N with this little W sign above it. This W sign tells you that the N must be called twice. First with the vowel before it, and then with its own vowel. So to spell and pronounce this word here, we say A-I-N, in, and inna, inna. Here you have K-U-L, kul, L-U-N, lun, kullun. But here you have two L's. So let us do it similar to this construction. So here you have the little W sign above the L. Therefore, the L must be pronounced twice. So to spell and pronounce, we say K-U-L, kul, L-U-N, lun, kullun. Here you have two more examples. H-U-N, hun, and inna, hunna. And here you have K-U-L, kul, L-A, la, M-A-A, ma, kullama. Number 16. Trace and pronounce the following words. Here you have some additional examples. And you know, K-A-L, kal, L-I, li, M-U, mo, nukallimu. A-I-N in, N-A-na, inna. H-U-N hun, N-A-na, hunna, innahunna. N-A-na, D-U-L dul, L-U-Lu, nadullu. K-A-L kal, L-A-A-la, kalla. And this brings us to the end of lesson 2. Allah